What? Welcome to the Dread Scar Rift. The Order Hall of the Warlocks. Okay, I'll stop. Welcome back to World of Warcraft. If you didn't catch the other one, I am basically doing a trifecta of vids about a few particular artifacts that are very unique in the fact that they actually can chat with you. And one of them is this right here. The Skull of the Minari, also known as Thal'kiel. I'll go over the lore of this guy here in just a moment, and then we will go over his quotes that he provides in the game. This is the artifact for the demonology spec of the Warlock, and the quest to acquire him is actually quite fun, and he has some very interesting things to say. Now, if you haven't seen the other two one is the Arcane Mage artifact, which is Aluneth, and the other is the Shadow Priest artifact, Xal'atath. So, if you haven't seen those, feel free to check those out. This one we're going to be focusing on Thal'kiel here, the Skull of the Minari, which also comes with, this dagger here. Though that's really not the main thing. The main thing is here. The idea is that you get this guy and he empowers your abilities and your control over your minions that you have. So, like, he's like an extra power amplifier for you because he himself is powerful. And if you're wondering why, well, we're about to read up on his lore. So I'm going to let you guys, if you don't enjoy just me sitting here just reading up on some lore, well, then you may want to just go ahead and bail right now. By the way, you guys like the transmog I've been working on? These are the gloves. I'm going to work on changing those because obviously they don't really work that well. But this is, at the moment, it's a cross between the Shadow Council set from Blackrock Foundry, the Mythic set, and the Nemesis set from Blackwing Lair. Those are the gloves from Mythic Nighthold. I'm going to try and work on getting some more other transmogs to kind of make this a bit more in sync, but I think it still looks pretty good at the moment anyway. What I really wanted, of course, was the mask and the shoulders, because why would I not want these? These are fantastic, especially the shoulders, because that's pretty much like what Gul'dan wears. So, the Tome of Blighted Implements. Let's get past the one on Altalesh. Here we go. Behold the skull of Thal'kiel the Denied, once a great leader of the Eredar. He gazed into the depths of the great dark beyond. This is the improved version of his look. I do have the secret one, the secret appearance, which is his Eredar skin look. It's gross. I don't really like using it, even though he has a quote about it. I'll read that in a bit. Dark, and embraced that which gazed back. He saw worlds consumed by fellfire, dark creatures of the twisting nether overrunning mortal civilizations, the conquest of creation. Now, all that remains of him is the skull, which lends the bearer his power to command demons. Like most skulls, Thal'kiel's comes with a cautionary tale. Never mind that it has been heeded by none. Before the coming of Sargeras to Argus, the Eredar Thal'kiel ushered in a golden age for his people. Thal'kiel was a sorcerer of unparalleled talent, and he and his Wakeners pushed the limits of summoning and binding magics, conjuring the arcane entities that helped build the capital's wondrous architecture. Thal'kiel also devised the machines that focus the world's latent arcane energy, suffusing Argus with peace, harmony, and vitality. All were in awe of his abilities, including his young apprentice, Archimonde. I'm sure that name is quite familiar, and you can probably have an idea of where this is going. There were rumors that Archimonde coveted Thal'kiel's power and influence. No surprise there. But the Eridar leader dismissed these as pure fabrication, for his apprentice had shown him nothing but devotion. Archimonde had even gone to great lengths to commission a custom-made crown for Thal'kiel, taking the measurements for his head himself. I wonder if that is actually, that little bit there is actually part of the crown. There's some other appearances I would love to have that I'm pretty sure I'm never going to get. Thal'kiel led an order of Eridar magi called the Wakeners, specialists in the arts of conjuration and binding. They were renowned for their clever arcane constructs, exploring new frontiers in summoning. Yet Thal'kiel was never one to rest on his laurels. He thirsted for more, seeking to elevate his order to levels undreamed of. He searched the uncharted terrain, venturing farther than any Eridar had dared before. His spells plumbed the vastness of the great dark beyond, petitioning for a deeper well of power. One day, he received an answer. Thal'kiel was brilliant, but he was not wise. A dark presence whispered to him, and the Eridar's mind was consumed with visions of power beyond his wildest imaginings, of ranks upon ranks of deadly servants eager to obey his every whim. These demonic forces made Thal'kiel's arcane constructs look like a child's playthings. Afterward, he would despise the arcane, his passion reserved only for fell magic. Thal'kiel's mysterious benefactor bestowed upon him the ability to summon lesser demons, and the Eridar immediately spread the knowledge to his Wakeners. Imps and fellhounds, infernals and abyssals, all executed the commands of Thal'kiel and his sorcerers. Convinced that this was the start of a new era, Thal'kiel feverishly prepared to present his wondrous pets to the rulers of Argus, Velen and Kil'jaeden. Brilliant, not wise. In the presence of Velen, Kil'jaeden, and the Eridar's rulers' inner circle, the sorcerer Thal'kiel demonstrated what his fell darlings could do. First, he summoned scores of his familiar arcane constructs and arrayed them in orderly rows. Then the sky went dark, and the clouds rolled as a storm of meteors crashed down. From the craters emerged an army of infernals, which Thal'kiel unleashed on the constructs. It was a symbolic display of the new era that he saw for his people. He watched rapturously as the demons obliterated the unfortunate arcane entities, smashing and burning them until only smoke and embers remained. Such was the demons' fury that even the nearby columns and statues were reduced to rubble and ash. An acceptable sacrifice on the altar of progress, as far as Thal'kiel was concerned. But when he looked upon his colleagues' faces, he didn't see the approval that he expected. Kil'jaeden's expression was remote, inscrutable, but there could be no doubt about how Velen felt. He condemned Thal'kiel's new summonings and ordered him never to conjure them again. The following is from an account of Thal'kiel's last days, written by an anonymous Wakener. It was recovered from Archimonde's private archive. After Master Thal'kiel's disastrous demonstration, Velen forbade him from conjuring demons, denouncing his new era as a failed experiment. Thal'kiel withdrew to his chambers for weeks. He neither ate nor slept. His only companions were the demonic minions he would summon and then banish in rage, or so we guessed. All we could hear were the shrieks of imps as they were thrust back and forth between this realm and the twisting nether. We also sensed the presence of other, larger entities with him, shadowy apparitions of baleful influence, though his servants swore that no one had entered his sanctum. When finally Thal'kiel emerged, he was changed. He had aged by centuries, alone in the dark with his thoughts and his thralls. His back was twisted and stooped, and there was an odd glimmer in his eye. He summoned his wakeners, and we answered the call, for we loved him like a father. He looked at each of us in turn, and said only, "The new era begins." Thal'kiel commanded his wakeners to continue their experiments in summoning fell creatures. In secret, he and his sorcerers conjured demons of increasingly dire aspect, and they cast powerful spells to hide their minions in covert training grounds. Shielded from the eyes of Velen and Kil'jaeden, Thal'kiel slowly amassed a great demonic army with one purpose: to install him as dictator of Argus. The Wakeners were united behind Thal'kiel, save one, his apprentice, Archimonde. Although he had no aversion to demons, in fact, he rather enjoyed them, Archimonde was driven by ambition, and he was eager to prove himself to Velen and Kil'jaeden. The night before the Wakeners were to stage their coup, Archimonde revealed Thal'kiel's plans to the rulers of the Eridar. "You shall have his head for this," Archimonde said. Velen and Kil'jaeden were stunned to learn of Thal'kiel's treachery. He had summoned legions of fell beasts to build his personal empire, plotting to assassinate the Eridar rulers. He had tapped into a strange new source of power whose limits were unknown, and he needed to be stopped. Swiftly and without mercy, to prove his loyalty to Velen and Kil'jaeden, Archimonde broke the wards that hid where Thal'kiel's demonic army was marshaled, and he led a contingent of magi in storming the secret training grounds. The battle did not last long. Caught off guard, the Wakeners were easily defeated by the invading magi, and without commanders to direct them, the demons were slaughtered. Archimonde himself confronted his master as he was summoning reinforcements. With a single stroke of his blade, he decapitated Thal'kiel. From Chapter 1 of a treatise, a treat on Eridar phrenology. The science of phrenology, the study of skull shape as a means to determine intellectual aptitude, became popular in Argus around the time of the Second Dumvirate. Its proponents believed that an Eridar's mental faculties, such as willpower, memory, and perception, could be attributed to the shape and size of various protuberances on that individual's skull. Some theorized that if an Eridar's skull was sufficiently well proportioned for spellcasting, it could be utilized to channel magical energies, even after death. This practice was deemed too barbaric to be put into common use, though it was not unheard of. Among the most prominent phrenologists during this period were Thal'kiel and Archimonde. Thal'kiel in particular was noted for having the archetypal sorcerer's skull, for which he was widely admired. After they threshed Thal'kiel's rebellion, the Eridar rulers' magi burned the Wakeners' bodies so their fell taint would not spread, and they destroyed the rebels' writings to suppress the knowledge of their foul arts. Archimonde oversaw the effort, and when it was done, he was hailed as a hero. Soon afterward, Archimonde commissioned one of Argus's finest jewelers to glid Thal'kiel's skull. He claimed that he was preparing it for viewing, as a grim warning not to follow Thal'kiel's path. In truth, he had it adorned with the metals that would enhance its ability to channel magical energy, the perfect decoration for the perfect sorcerer's skull, which Archimonde proudly displayed in his domicile. That's probably what that appearance is kind of referring to. Archimonde eventually rose to lead the Eridar alongside Velen and Kil'jaeden, and by all accounts, he was a wise and sagacious ruler. This is Archimonde we're talking about. In actuality, however, a demonic presence had been slowly infiltrating Archimonde's mind, using Thal'kiel's skull as a conduit for its pernicious influence. While Archimonde slept, he saw visions of civilizations consumed in magnificent fellfire, and a dark god standing at the head of a glorious army. The entity whispered promises of strength that were impossible for mere mortals to comprehend, and Archimonde drank them in, eager to learn more of this mysterious being and his invincible legions. Thus, when the Dark Titan Sargeras finally came to Argus and offered the Eridar a place in his kingdom, Archimonde was the first to accept. After Archimonde became one of the Burning Legion's generals, he put Thal'kiel's skull to good use. In life, Thal'kiel had been unmatched in his ability to control demonic minions, and his skull was no less adept. World after world fell before Archimonde as he channeled his commands through the skull, compelling multitudes of demons to obey, his forces obliterating opponents with the grace and precision of an expertly choreographed ballet. Since then, possession of Thal'kiel's skull has been passed between a handful of Sargeras' elite generals, with preference given to those who lead invasions of the fallen Titan's most sought-after worlds. The Dreadlord Mephistroth, commander of the Legion's vanguard in Azeroth, was the last to be seen with it. Before we interfered and freed Thal'kiel, though in the mission we don't just take or enslave Thal'kiel, we basically are offered to work with him, because the more willing he was to work with us, the more powerful he would be, which would aid us in our fight against the Legion. So that's the lore behind this skull here. This is what's left of Thal'kiel. So he has some very interesting and funny quotes throughout the time you play as him. Or rather, throughout the time you play as a Demo Warlock throughout Legion. So he has some comments on some of the abilities he's used, by the way. In fact, can I actually get him to say it right here if I do this?
Nice to see I'm not the only dismembered body part around here.
Alright, there's one of the quotes. Can I do it? Can I get him to say a different one? No. Okay. So that's one of the quotes he says when you use the Eye of Kilrog. So here are some other ones. Only one eye? Well, don't complain to me because you have no depth perception. And then there's that one he just said of the nice to see I'm not the only dismembered body part around here. Here's another one is, think you could summon me a body while you're at it? Now, if you try and do the ritual of summoning... he didn't say anything. So, I guess if you get people to use this, he'll say, you need help to complete a summoning ritual? You can't do it by yourself? How pathetic. He also says, seeking a creature from the twisting nether? Grabbing a beast from the void? Oh, you're just summoning a friend. And he also says, back when I had a body, I never needed help with this ritual. I was a summoner without peer. If you try and use your demonic gateway ability, he says, and what did you have in mind for that? Already planning to run away? And always have an escape planned. A lesson that I learned the hard way. If you try and use your enslaved demon ability, he'll see 3 different quotes here that are listed. All will serve. Bow to your new masters. Yes, this one will serve us well. When you use your called Dreadstalkers, he says a few different quotes. Rip them apart. Unleash the hounds. And gnaw them to the bone. When you use your Hand of Gul'dan, he says, Fight, you pathetic imps! Burn them down! Incinerate them! And like Thal'kiel, like Xal'atath, he has some quotes when you're going through the dungeons and raids. When you go to the Archway, he'll say, when you face General Zakal, "This one reminds me of a Felguard. Big, strong, and stupid." When you face Ivanir, "Keep me away from that thing! I don't need my magic to be drained again." Ah. Hold on. Get that off my screen. I just hate it when you're looking at something and then all of a sudden an ad just pops up right in the middle of it. I'm like, come on, I'm reading something here. Get that out of the way. When you go to Blackwood Cold and you face the Amalgam of Souls, interesting. What a creative use of residual soul energy. We must remember to research this technique. When you face Ilsana Ravencrest, this one has drank deeply of the Fel. It's unfortunate that we don't have time to see if she can be bound like any other demon. For experimentation and research purposes, of course, is what he's getting at. When you go to the Court of Stars, and you face Flame Wreath, well, if it isn't my particle student, Thal'kiel. She was missing when the Vindicators put me in chains and slew the rest of my disciples. I look forward to witnessing her death. When you face Captain Gerdo, beware! His advisor is far more than he seems. Keep your wits about you. When you go to Darkheart Thicket, and you face the Shade of Xavius, this Xavius is crafty. He hides his true form while gathering power with an illusion. We would do well to learn from him. When you go to the Eye of Ajara, and you face the Wrath of Ajara, this creature may seem impressive, but the spells which give it form are barely holding together. Break the ritual supporting it, and the rest shall soon crumble. When you go to the Halls of Valor, and... this is just in general. If the Valajar were able to be unleashed from this place, they would be a significant hindrance to the Legion. Stuck here, they're useless. When you go to the Maw of Souls, do you hear them? The screams of the souls that form every board and nail of this ship. They're like music. When you go to Neltharion's lair, and you face Rockmora, look at this creature. Such sloppy technique. It would never be able to It would never be able... Wow, they wrote this wrong. Be able to master binding magic needed for a warlock. There was a typo here. When you go to the Vault of the Wardens, well, this looks cheery. That's all he says. Now, when you go to the Cathedral Eternal Night, remember, we saved him from Mephistroth. So as we're going through, when we face Thrashbite the Scornful, this one is powerful, but stupid. It would make a worthless minion. When you face Mephistroth, my former master, the time for revenge is at hand. When you defeat Mephistroth, that fool saw me as little more than a trinket for harvesting power. He has paid for his lack of vision. Kind of something that he and Gul'dan have in common. Vision. The seat of the Triumvirate. When you face Zural the Ascended. How pathetic this creature is. Watch and learn why your will must always be stronger than the powers you control. At Viceroy Nazar, this one has the necessary ambition, but lacks talent. After Illyria gets affected by Lura, she meddles with power that she does not understand. One slip, and she will lose herself to it. Kind of different compared to what Xalatath said, wasn't it? In the raids, when we go to the Nighthold, and we face Atreus, this one has seen into the great dark and beheld the Legion's glorious works. I wonder how you will react when you glimpse them as well. When you face Croesus, this one has strong ties to the Dark Lord. To consolidate our control over the Legion, we should eliminate our competition while we have the chance. When we go to Tichondrius, like most of the Nethrazim, Tichondrius is as ignorant as he is deadly. His ego will be his undoing. When we face Elisande, her attempts to control time's flow are futile. Subtle forces work against her, once far more powerful than she could ever imagine. When we go to the Tomb of Sargeras, and, well, when we just go there, do you sense it? The lifeblood of your world flows just under the surface of this place. I know ancient incantations which could tap into the lifeblood of your world. This would be an ideal place to unleash them. When we face Mistress Zaznine, the Naga are a corrupted race. They possess arcane skill, but lack the finesse inherent to my people. When we face the Sisters of the Moon, I detest spirits, always blathering about their former lives. Consume their souls and be done with them. Oh, of course it refreshes, just as I'm looking at that. Man, that gets irritating. Get back to my place here. Okay. When we face the Desolate Host, an intriguing use of soul energy. They could have accomplished so much had they merely applied themselves. When we face the Maiden of Vigilance, this place reeks of the Titans. When we face the Fallen Avatar, careful, power still echoes within this ancient golem. It would be prudent to destroy it before the Legion empowers it further. When we face Kil'jaeden, and this could be interesting, the Deceiver scorned my talents while I still lived. Let us see which of us survives the battle to come. And then after we defeat Kil'jaeden, and we have that cinematic where we see Argus above Azeroth. The skies of my home. I did not believe I would see this world again. When we go to Antorus, the Burning Throne, and we face Kingoroth, gaze upon... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, it's... Actually, no, I think this is actually meant for the Worldbreaker. It says Kingoroth, but I think this, based on what this quote says, I think it's actually for Garathi Worldbreaker. Gaze upon the weapons of the Legion. Soon they shall be used at our beck and call. And then I think this one, when we face Kingoroth, because I think this is actually for Kingoroth. The essence of chaos is infused within these weapons. Soon they shall be lifted in praise to us. When we face Varamathras, this one has long been a thorn in the Legion's side. I never imagined we would become allies. After we defeat Varamathras, he had so much potential. A pity he refused to submit to his betters. When we face the Coven of Shavara, The sisters have the right idea, but they lack the power to see their will enforced. When we face Agramar, the power of this one, it is incredible. Perhaps we can bind it to us instead? When we get to the seat of the Pantheon, witness the fate of the great makers. Oblivion shall be their destiny. And at Argus the Unmaker, break this thing, bend it to our will. If this has been beyond you, destroy it. So now for quotes about locations. When we are in Val'sharah, why are we wasting time by walking in this forest? Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. The Felguard says, why are we wasting time by walking in this forest? And then he says, this place crawls with creatures, malformed and twisted from warped mind. They will burn all the same. While we're in Val'sharah with the Voidwalker, here in the forest you will see the flaw in the Titan's plan. And the Voidwalker says, I hate this place. Free me from the torment of this journey. When we are in High Mountain with the Felguard, this land is so fresh. I can't sense any demonic corruption here. It's revolting. The Felguard says, so many beasts in this land to slaughter. When we are in Azuna with the Succubus, Thal'kiel says, the people of this land bought their freedom from the Legion, a price paid in blood, a sacrifice made in vain, as you shall soon see. And the Succubus says, ghostly eyes are watching our every move. I don't think we'll get any privacy in this landmaster. When we go to Stormheim, Thal'kiel says, these foolish Vrykul cling to the notion that the Titans will someday return. When we are in Stormheim near the Gates of Valor, is it not glorious to witness such mighty beings bowing at your feet? I sacrificed everything, for such power. One day, you too must pay ambition's price. The next quote, we will face my former kin in this conflict. Good. I've awaited my revenge for millennia. They will pay for what they did to me. And lastly, these Vrykul are not as easy to destroy as you might think. And he says that in response to the Felguard saying, the Vrykul here believe themselves to be warriors without peer. I will show them the error of their ways. I like that he just kind of has this banter back and forth depending on which minion you have with you. It's kind of a nice little nice touch, nice detail there. When we go to Suramar, he says, the elves of this land wither away for lack of magic. Pathetic. They could have easily taken it from others. And Suramar with the Felguard, I will enjoy seeing the city burn. And he says, this place is nothing compared to Makari, and soon it will burn with hellfire just the same. When we go to the Broken Shore, he says, the Legion has conquered the shore. Soon we shall conquer the Legion in turn. This place holds a mere fraction of the Legion's might. There are many horrors yet to behold. Do you smell the charred flesh upon the wind? Ah, the scent of home. Your last visit here was nearly the end of you. How fortunate that you now enjoy my company. This place is so like Argus, twisted, shattered, and broken. Ah, almost makes me homesick. Your skills have improved significantly since we first met. Given a few thousand years, you may even rise to the level of my best apprentices. And then lastly, here we are, the site where fools were vanquished. Remember, courage is no substitute for power. When we go to Makari, which of course would be his home, like it was for Velen and Kil'jaeden and Archimonde. Ah, home. I almost missed it. And the second quote, This city was once the greatest of Argus. Look at how it has fallen. The once mighty houses are now mere pawns of the Legion. Soon, they will serve us as well. In the Exodar near Velen, this one bears partial blame for me being in this form. He will not escape my wrath. But there are others, far more responsible, who must be dealt with first. And then there are some other quotes. There are like interactions, like agreeings, where he's like, "What do you ask of me? There is a method to my madness." It says when he's pissed, he will say, "To dominate or not to dominate? That is the question." Because he's a flying skull, get it? "Do you need a hand? Because I don't have one." Get it? And then there are some other quotes here. Upon killing a target, like, "Did it even try? The soul of that one would be useful. Fall before your masters. Another weakling falls." Now, the next quotes involve the skin appearance. Let me go ahead and let's head up here and I'll actually show you the available appearances that you can actually try and get, or at least the one that I found. And it just randomly dropped for me as I was doing a Legion invasion with this character. "That's right, salute me! Salute your master!" I love the Warlock Order Hall. It's just like, yeah! Alright. So down here, here are some of the... So this is the default appearance right here. I hate that he just wanders off so you can't really see it. This is the upgrade version when you complete the Warlock class hall campaign. This is that Balance of Power quest line in the Glory of the Legion Hero. Man, I wish I could be able to do that. That takes so long. These are the PvP appearances. I'm never going to get those. And then we have Thal'kiel's visage. Ugh. Yeah, you can probably see why I don't use this. That's just gross. So, in response to these skins you can give him, he'll say, "You know, I've been rather been missing having some skin on my bones. Maybe there's something that we can do about that." "No, lower caste won't do at all." Not bad, not bad. Green eyes, though. Mine were gray. "Oh, no, wrong skin color entirely. That won't do." "Ick, that head reminds me of an uppity apprentice that I had. Get rid of it." "That's it. That's the one. Give it to me immediately." And then he's got some other quotes here for some what's labeled as unknown locations. "Look at the land. You see how the Legion has drained it of every useful bit of magic? Not even a soul of a worm remains. Such efficiency must be praised. Such powerful... I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Strong, powerful, cunning." Of course it reloads as I'm reading that. Duh. "Cunning. Dragons would make ideal minions if they were only more... subservient. Those peaks stretch up to touch the firmament. What a delight it will be to watch them crumble. This land looks pure. I can still sense the Legion's presence. The elves of this land wither away for lack of magic." Oh wait, we already read that one. Okay, so I think some of these actually were misplaced. "The elves idle behind their walls for protection. Fools! The very world around them will crumble if the Legion is victorious." I think you meant to say nightmares. "The nightmare creeps across this land, tempting power to harness, but to do so without understanding its nature would be foolish." Well, that brought back some unpleasant memories. "Look upon the monstrosity before you. The Legion had no part in its creation. No, this creature is the volley of the Titan's designs. Watching you hone your craft Brings back old memories. I was an instructor millennia ago. My students were the finest summoners of Argus. Until we were betrayed. We're obviously referring to the lore I just read you guys about what Archimonde did to him. So that is the lore and the quotes of Thal'kiel, the Skull of the Mari, for the Demo, Warlock, and Legion. In case you were ever curious about what it's like to take him throughout all of Legion. And of course, if you have him as a transmog for any of your current weapons, if you're playing the Demo spec, you could be able to bring him along with you, and he'll still just kind of comment and such, especially when you ever use your abilities. So I would love to. I don't think I've ever actually tried it because these days I mainly play Destro, but I would love to hear the quotes he has when we do the ritual summoning and raids, and he's like, "What are you doing? You need others to help you with this? Pathetic." So that was the one on the Demo Warlock. I hope you guys would want to check out the other two I have made in regards to the Arcane Mage and the Shadow Priest and their talkative artifacts. And I will see you guys next.